Happy Halloween, all you anime addicts. We have a great episode planned for you today, a very a spooktacular, if you will. And if you want to help out the podcast, show us your appreciation, share the love as we enter the holiday season, AAApodcast.com/join or Patreon, that's the place to do it. You're going to get 8 extra podcast episodes a month just for you. That's called exclusive, baby. And you'll be supporting the show as well. Again, happy Halloween. I hope you enjoy. And now let's get it rolling.
You are listening to an extra spooky episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your candy addiction worse at AAApodcast.com. Happy Halloween!
Are you going to start us, Caroline?
Oh, yeah. I forgot. And also, this is not our typical entry music, so I didn't realize. Anywho, hi, this is Caroline the Ghost. And welcome to the Halloween episode spectacular. Episode number 650 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Woo! This is Caroline. We got Mason here, who decided not to dress up, and also
what are you talking about?
And also Mitsuki, who did not decide to dress up either. I mean, Mitsuki, why are you wearing your normal clothes today?
Yeah, I am dressed as Sailor Mars today. This is how I always dress under my regular clothing, complete with the gloves, the tiara, all the fixings. This is some A-tier fucking cosplay level shit. I'm telling you what, you got to see it to believe it.
Especially compared to my gorgeously made ghost costume that I was actively trying to fix as we were starting the podcast because my eye holes are not big enough.
I want to make some comments about this costume after we get through the intro, but until then, I'll just keep my mouth shut.
This is the same costume I wore last time, so. Anywho, so we are here to make your anime addiction worse, and you can even make it worser. I don't even know if that was correct grammar or not. You can find us on Twitch live on Sundays, 5 p.m. EDT. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on TikTok, Facebook, and Discord. So with all that out of the way, let's talk about what is happening this episode. You know, for as long as this podcast has been on,
spooky shit.
We have done a lot of Halloween episodes, and it kind of feels like we try to keep it new and think of something fun to do every time, but it gets a little difficult when you have been doing it for as long as this podcast has. So today we have the fantastic idea, thought up by yours truly, where we are going to basically compare anime to classic Halloween candy
in
any way, shape, or form that we could think of.
I'm
great idea,
frightened
Caroline.
of this topic. What anime is like a payday candy bar? I don't know. None of them? Yeah. It's a fucking candy bar.
Yeah, exactly. It makes no
shit.
sense. And yet we're doing it. So that is on the agenda. We also have Unexplored Pictures with Mason and our next round of fall impressions. Very, very exciting.
Very.
So without further ado, Mitsuki, you said you had a comment about my costume?
Yeah, no, my costume. So, I was just this is for all the guys in the audience and maybe all the ladies. Look, I'm just going to tell you right now. Here it is. Here's the ruby slipper right here. I'm holding it up.
Okay.
So this is the high heel that I wore. Probably a collective.
That is not, I don't think that's 3.5 inches, Mitsuki.
Well, I don't know how high it is, but
Well, you told me it was 3.5.
This is the standard ruby slipper that didn't cost a lot of money. I will say that, men, I'm here to tell you, high heels aren't as bad as the ladies make them sound.
You only wore them for a few hours before taking them off.
I was wearing these high heels drunk, dancing on linoleum like a sweaty madman with Inosuke from Demon Slayer, who just happened to show up at the Halloween party. And I was getting down with my bad self. I was like, ooh, yeah, listen to the click clack of my heels as I stomp around to this like rave music. So, but I did feel the skeletal structure of my foot changing in this heel after about 2.5 hours and had to thusly remove it to not die. But yeah, I mean, you ladies out there got to quit complaining about the heels. I got to tell you, if Mitz can do it, y'all can do it. So, but this
for
is
a few hours, Mitsuki,
this
and
is
it's not that high.
This is a legit heel. I could stab someone's eye out with this thing. See, Sailor Mars, I don't have a weapon, but I do have a heel, and I'll stab you with it. So, yeah.
Oh, yes, and also worth mentioning is the return of the Jelly Bean game. Woo-woo!
Oh my God.
So if there are some newer listeners that are not aware, sometimes we'll reference the Jelly Bean situation, which was back in the Easter. I won a humongous jar of jelly beans, and so we made the Jelly Bean game, where every single time somebody referenced an anime that I didn't know, referenced anything that I wasn't aware of, Mitsuki talking lewd things, etc., yeah. I ate a jelly bean.
That's not going to change.
And I finished that jar back in like August or something. And they were clamoring for more jelly bean games.
Oh, they clamored.
So I got a massive thing of jelly beans to replenish the jar. So it goes up to almost the same level as the jelly beans before, but also note, these jelly beans are far bigger.
You're going to develop an illness
before. So if you are taking part in the betting war that is on our Discord over when I will be finishing these jelly beans, take that into account. These are bigger. So it might be finished up faster than you think.
I got it. What's that? Wait, what's that? I'm receiving a call from Caroline's pancreas. They say...
Yeah. Oh, and today is an even worse day because...
Even worser.
We are doing a candy corn special.
Oh my God. I have no candy corn, so I won't be eating any of that dog shit.
I know. I don't typically
It's the worst
eat candy corn.
ever.
Is it even on the list of candy that we are...
It is.
Of course
we will find out what anime is the most like candy corn.
I don't remember, so I don't know. I need to double check on that. What did I put down? Anywho, so yeah, this is gonna be rough. I opened the bag and I nearly gagged from the smell. So
wow.
And I'm also recovering from a hangover, so this is not gonna be great for my... Shut up. Anywho, let's go.
It's like, fuck you, Mitz.
Oh, 大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
It's not even Halloween yet. It's the 30th as we record this, and people are already fucking up big time across the globe. So last week, I guess it was, there was just a disaster, a total tragedy in South Korea. So South Korea has been on lockdown for like 3 years, and so now they're not, and it's Halloween, and so there's like 1 trillion people flooding to this Itaewon. I can't pronounce Korean, but if it was Japanese, it would be like Itaewon district for an unrestricted Halloween party sort of festival thing. And so there were just like huge crowds of people trying to attend booths and nightclubs that, you know, often like dot these like side streets. I've been to Seoul, and they definitely have really fucked up streets. Like they go up steep hills, and they have businesses on those hills, and it's like, why would you want to park your car on this hill? And then like people are, you know, and they're narrow. So I guess the quote from the police in Korea is that, quote, people poured into one particularly narrow and sloping alley even after it was already packed wall to wall. There's social media footage showing some people trying to scale the sides of the buildings to escape the pressure of the people in the alleyways. Apparently, the people were falling, like, you know, and because it was on a slope, it was causing like domino effects of people falling down, and then those people were getting crushed as other people tried to escape from the alleyway, and the insane result of all this is that over 150 people died.
Yeah,
So,
that is absolutely just
so
mind-boggling to think about that. Something so basic as not enough room and too many people can cause that many deaths. It's insane.
Yeah, totally crazy. And so in Tokyo, they are very well aware that this happened. And Tokyo is the largest city in the world. They have 37.2 million people now in Tokyo, which is incredible. And pretty soon that whole country is just going to be Tokyo. And Seoul is the fourth most populated at 25.5. So there's actually quite a bit more people in Tokyo than in Seoul. Okay, and now they have this area of Tokyo called Shibuya, which has the giant, street crossing. It's got a huge station there. There's a ton of businesses, and so this is the place where every year, just like rowdiness that doesn't normally seem to happen in Japan takes place. One year they're flipping over cars, all this crazy shit, and so they've actually enlisted riot police and public relations units known as DJ police to guide pedestrians like on the sidewalks and try to keep them out of the roads, because they're worried that there's going to be a similar Halloween crush at this district in Shibuya, which has already seen that sort of thing before, but just not like it was in Korea. So they're on high fucking alert right now in Tokyo. I guess Monday is when the larger crowds are expected. So keep your fingers crossed that that there's not a similar catastrophe in Tokyo. One, because it would be terrible to have like another 150 people die from something so stupid, but also and honestly unbelievable too. Like humans are just gonna crush each other out of like fear. We turn into like wild animals, like a herd of buffalo like running from a fucking dog. And then we just crush each other. It's so ridiculous. But also,
it sounds so terrifying too, to be like slowly crushed to death alongside your friends and family
that's why
members.
People died, because it's so scary. It's like you'll do anything. You'll climb over another human, and and also because you don't want the Halloween festivities in all these different countries to get like eliminated just because of something so stupid. So I know that people are having a lot of fun, but it's keep things sane, I guess. But Caroline, what do you got?
All right. Well, Vinland Saga Season 2 will be coming out soon, so we got an update on that. It will premiere on January 9th. A new trailer came out featuring the new OP as well. And I feel like a lot of people kind of already know this by now, but Season 1 of Vinland Saga is going to be Season 2 is going to be much different than Season 1.
No, it won't.
Because I feel like Season 1 was definitely action-adventure. I think Season 2 is going to be a little bit more about character development.
Mm-mm.
What are you talking about?
I don't want that. I want the big guy throwing trees through people again. That's what I want.
Well, I believe he's still going to be in it. It's just this is going to be more about Thorfinn.
Oh man.
I think his depression.
He's like one of the worst characters in Season 1.
But I hear that he becomes a little bit more likable.
He's gonna I'm sure. Otherwise, if he didn't, people wouldn't think Vinland Saga is like the greatest thing ever, like they do.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I feel like it's Season 1 is kind of considered the prologue, and then the real story comes through in this season, like what this anime is supposed to be about. So that will be interesting. It turns out Netflix will be streaming the season worldwide, except in China, and Crunchyroll is streaming the season worldwide, except in Asia. So, yeah, China's really getting a rubbed hand in this deal, but I don't know, maybe
it's their own fault.
Yeah, I'm not sure for what reason, but still, it's gonna be interesting, and I can't wait to see it.
All right, is that it from you, Caroline?
Yeah, that's it. There wasn't really much.
Mason, I know we're going to go to you, but real quick, I'm getting an actual Action Live news report. Wait, coming in?
Good day, anime fans. We're here bringing you rarely seen live footage from the Church of Mitsugi, where Halloween is in full swing.
And that, my acolytes, is why on this very Halloween night, 10,000 years ago, anime hell was created. Ugh, for Pope's sake, stop the music. What in the anime hell?
Trick or treat?
Anime Satan?
No, I'm Kana from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
No, Anime Satan, aren't you a cute little moe girl?
Oh, thanks, Pope.
Here's your candy now. Don't stay out too late. Brush your teeth when you get home.
Say, when are you gonna come for a visit? I've got English muffins and peach jelly.
Okay, now where was I? Oh, come on, you've got to be kidding. Oh my, what delightful little moe girls you are. What are we dressed up as this year?
We're Konata, Tsukasa, and Miyuki from Lucky Star.
Oh, okay, Lucky Star. Fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face! Now, I don't know what kind of moe, cutesy-tootsy power play you're trying to pull here, but this is the Church of Mitsugi. So whatever you want, you better think again, or else I'm gonna rain down an ungodly fucking firestorm upon you. You're gonna have to call Kyoto Animation and get a fucking binding resolution to keep me from kicking you into the fucking pit of anime hell. It's a long way to the bottom, motherfucker. I will massacre you. I will fuck you up! Kit Kats? All right, sorry about that, man. Are we back?
Trivia time for the ghost. Trivia time for the ghost.
Yes.
Under penalty of eating more candy corn. I don't know what your rules are. Who major Hollywood actor was the Mitsugi quoting during that bit?
I have no idea.
She's not gonna know.
What movie was Mitsugi quoting from that
quote
bit?
are we even talking about?
The whole step back and do the thing to yourself and I'll rain down.
An ungodly
Yeah,
fucking firestorm.
Yeah.
No clue.
Les
That's
Grossman.
Tom Cruise from Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, baby.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
actually, now that I think about it, he did say Lucky Star, which I have not seen. So
Oh, that's a good one.
Candy
too.
There you
time.
go. Eat your candy corn. Yeah. There you go.
I appreciate that. Very well done, my friend. Glad to see you protecting the peace.
Well, now that we're back in studio, Mason, what do you have for the news today?
Nothing big. There's a 6-episode Lupin the Third streaming thing coming in December called Lupin Zero, streaming on High Dive. It will take place in the 1960s and will tell the story of Lupin the Third as a youth, with both original and manga storylines, and it's done by Telecom Animation, the people who do all the Lupin stuff. And I don't know, I like Lupin somewhat, but I don't like the character designs here. So we will see. But if you like Lupin, you got more of it coming in just like a month away. So huzzah! That's it. Nothing big. Now,
maybe I should say what the rules are for the game.
Yeah, what are the rules and what's our podcast topic? Lay it
Sailor
all
Mars
out.
is,
Mostly the rules are the same from last time, but they have been altered slightly. So we still have the rule anime I've never seen being said. Food, whenever that's brought up with as a tangent, not having anything to do with the conversation. So the whole candy corn thing, the candy thing is not going to count because that's part of our topic. And lewdness, of course. So those are the 3 rules.
Lewdness.
Yes, because you are just chock full of really strange comments that deserve jelly beans. So
Yeah, of course they
yes, those are the 3 rules. And we will get started with the game today with the candy corn, as we mentioned. But yes, let's get started with the game. Anime Sweets. Now, as we mentioned before, we are comparing Halloween candy to anime shows. So where shall we start off? Should we just go from the top?
I think so.
I love how you kind of get a little bit more generic with the candy later on in the list. Like you go down, you kind of okay, so we're talking about candy like Laffy Taffy and 100 grand near the end. And then you put in the 2 big guns, which is Kit Kat and Reese's Cups at the very end.
I've scrambled up the list of quality, popularity, and we will let you know our bad anime takes and our bad candy takes. And I think our plan is to rank the shows, the candy, everything, and just have a good fun time. So we'll go through these pretty quickly.
Yeah, we ain't getting through all this, though.
No,
Yeah.
I think
We'll try our best, but
So starting off, we got a basic one. M&Ms. So what show do you think relates to M&Ms? Based on a joke, based on how it tastes, based on whatever your own thing is.
Well, I have no fucking clue. So I was like, well, M&Ms are multicolored, so I picked Love After World Domination because it's such a color-themed show. But like, honestly, how the fuck should I know? This is M&Ms. I'm surprised there's not an M&M anime at this point. That would have made things easy, but yeah, that's what I picked. Love After World Domination.
There you go. Pretty simple. Caroline?
All right. I, for M&Ms, put down Gintama because it is a very colorful show in that there's a lot of characters, a lot of different personalities. And for me, I have been watching Gintama for like 2 years, but I have not been able to crack like into the first real story arc that really gets people interested in Gintama. So I'm eating these M&Ms one at a time. I'm watching these episodes one at a time, and whenever I can get back to them. So that is why I picked Gintama.
I guess I had a similar thing. I went with Dragon Ball Z for M&Ms because it's a classic. Everyone knows it. Everyone had it as a kid.
Yeah.
And there's a whole lot of them, but they all kind of taste the same. So that's Dragon Ball Z.
All right, Hershey bars. I picked Chocolate Underground, literally an anime about chocolate. So specifically, like, the government doesn't want you to eat sweets because they're like 1984 level oppressive. You know, not a very good anime, honestly, in my opinion, but definitely on point. So Chocolate Underground, it's an OVA from like 15 years ago or something.
Mitz is like, it's chocolate. It has chocolate. There you go.
In the title. It's in the title.
There you go.
The Hershey bar is just chocolate, though. It's literally just chocolate. That's nothing. Hershey bars are undersold, though. They are solid.
Yeah. Okay. For Hershey bar, because it is like you just see them everywhere, and everybody eats them, and you always go back to them because they're tried and true. I picked. I picked Attack on Titan. I feel like I definitely say too much. I was trying not to, but honestly, for me, it makes sense to put Attack on Titan as the Hershey bar.
Okay. I went with Sword Art Online because the Hershey bar, at least in the Western world, is a lot of people's like one of their first tastes in chocolate or anime. But real fans of chocolate or anime will be like, no, that's bad. That's for babies. But it gets the job done. You know, it's a good starter candy.
Yeah. Okay. Sour Patch Kids. I picked Kaguya-sama Love is War because Sour Patch Kids are very tsundere. They're like sour, like at the start, but then they get sweet. So that's like the most tsundere candy ever. And every fucking character in Kaguya-sama is tsundere as hell to the point of making me physically ill. Which Sour Patch Kids would never do. But if you wanted to see two tsunderes just torture each other with like not liking each other and has no Sour Patch Kids, Kaguya-sama.
I have to say that's a pretty good one that you picked that I didn't think of. I chose Bloom Into You because for me, when I first watched it, I was just like, not really into this show. I don't like these characters. But then it got a little bit interesting because even though I don't like the characters, their struggles are interesting to me. So first sour, then kind of sweet, and then gone because Bloom Into You ended on a very strange note.
I like the tagline.
It was not ended in a very common, satisfying to most people way. So I thought that worked.
Bloom Into You.
Obviously, for Sour Patch Kids, you got to go with Promise Neverland because it's all about eating kids. And while it's a refreshing change of pace at first, by the time you're like halfway done with the bag, you're like, I kind of don't want any more of this. I'm kind of done with this show.
Oh, no, I eat every Sour Patch Kid every time.
I've never had a Sour Patch Kid.
Are you fucking kidding?
Because I don't like sour things.
Well, eat your candy. Eat your
it
candy
doesn't sound
corn, I guess.
appetizing.
Does she have to eat candy corn for that?
No.
Oh man.
No. She doesn't get to eat candy for not eating candy. That's not how the rules work.
Yeah, but Sour Patch Kids is an S tier candy, and candy corn is trash.
But so you're calling Kaguya an S tier show?
Woo!
To most people, but to me, it's just a boring slog. So, Well,
I hear the manga's ending.
Thank God.
Next week. Actually, no, in the next couple days.
Yeah, and at the end of it, maybe you'll finally get to have one moment. Probably not.
Ideally, you like these shows as much as the candy, and can relate. Well, whatever. We all have our own.
I
way
got
of
my
doing it.
reasons.
You
I
have
got
your
my
reasons. Let's go. Snickers, lay it on us.
If that's the logic you guys are going by, none of these are going by that logic from me personally.
I have no idea what your logic is most of the time. So
Well, that's fair enough. So this next one I picked, and I can't remember why. I actually just have a link to it here, on Mal. There's an anime called this is the Snickers / Dr. Stone TV commercial. Because this next candy is Snickers.
Oh.
There's a Snickers Dr. Stone TV commercial, and it's on my anime list as an anime. So it's literally
this is
Snickers.
The most chaotic episode of the show ever.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so because it has a Snickers in it, it is
of course.
Snickers. Okay. I mean, I can't argue that. Caroline, what show represents Snickers?
I chose bento because you're not you and you're hungry. And in this show, they literally just pulverize anyone that gets in the way of them getting really cheap bento boxes and other food. So I feel like that summarized it pretty well.
Okay. And for me, Snickers, great god tier candy. I went with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood because it's very solid. It leaves you full, leaves you satisfied. It's a rewarding, enriching experience. It's got a lot of components that work well together, from chocolate to the nougat to the all the stuff, the peanuts. It's all good. And fans of Snickers are quick to poo-poo other candy. I feel like Snickers kind of know they're really good. They'll be like, oh, "You like that? That candy's trash." So I feel like fans of Snickers share the same personality with fans of Full Metal Alchemist, but it is good. It's a good candy.
And Mitsuki, I see you did not put anything down for Starburst.
That's okay. What did you have, Caroline?
I decided to put down Made in Abyss because with Starbursts, they look really sweet. Obviously, Made in Abyss looks really sweet, but it's not. It's obviously
Starbursts
very
are sweet.
Yeah. No, but Starburst. Okay, so that wasn't really the main reason. I really chose Starburst as Made in Abyss because they get stuck in your teeth and they stay with you even a while after you watch the show, or eat the candy. And with Made in Abyss, all of that really gory and gross stuff kind of stays with you, and yeah. So I thought that was my reasoning.
It's got a coffee refill.
Gives you something to chew on. I see. Yeah. So for Starburst, I went with the Harem Show Nisekoi because sure, there are 4 quote-unquote flavors to choose from, but really we all know there's really only 2 clear favorites. So, and all the colors of that show are predictable, and everyone's kind of a square, so Starburst is kind of like Nisekoi. Next up, we have Butterfinger. Caroline.
Which, once again, Mitsuki did not put one down.
That's fine. You don't have to put down for anything. He's not a foodie. He's busy shaking his booty for the camera.
Oh, dear. So for Butterfinger, I put down, oh my god, I hate this thing. I can't reveal it the way that I want to.
Here, I can do it.
Yeah, can you do that for me? Okay.
I got you.
For Butterfinger, I put down Cowboy Bebop because I have never had a Butterfinger.
What?
And
Jesus.
Everyone's always
so sad.
shocked when I say that. And I've also never seen Cowboy Bebop. And again, people are shocked when I say that. So I just
the Butterfinger's more shocking. Why. You've never had a Butterfinger Blizzard or anything?
I mean, no.
That's it.
I don't really.
Do I have to order you another Blizzard?
No, don't order me Blizzard.
Well, no, you don't, Mitz, because my pick for Butterfinger is, I think, pretty good, and that is Berserk, because it is a very good show with a lot of intense flavors and a texture that sticks with you. It's very memorable.
It sticks in your teeth.
Something about it, they changed the Butterfinger recipe, and it is Garbo now. It's not good. If you have a Butterfinger these days, it doesn't. It's not good. They changed it.
Trolling
it's
Caroline.
bad. Just like Berserk.
Sorry. I mean, it's possible I
best.
might have had one and I just totally forgot about it. But in my clear memory, I don't think I've ever had a Butterfinger.
Shame.
It's a shame. They are pretty good.
What can I say?
It's a fantastic Blizzard topping, and I think
That's
one of the originals too. I think. Candy corn for me, aquatrope of white sand. Because candy corn is this candy that always seems stale the minute it leaves like the bag. It's like instantly always. A comedian once joked, I can't remember who it was, said that all candy corn was made in like 1960, and they've been just
Wasn't
working
that
through this.
Lewis Black?
Oh yeah, it might be.
I think it was Lewis Black.
From way back in the day.
You're like, every year, like a person with amnesia, you go back, candy, corn, candy that tastes like corn. Put in, son of a bitch. I think that's how it goes.
Well, Aquatrope is. See, to me, some of these slice of life shows are just so dull and just they taste stale to me. They're not interesting. They are boring, and that is exactly what candy corn is. So, I was gonna put a show like Tony Kaku or something in here, but at least that show's like a trash rom-com. It has at least like trash going for it, and Aquatrope doesn't even have that. It's just like
as Caroline mainlines candy corn.
Stop talking about extra shows, Mitsuki. I already have to go through 60 of these. So, let me finish chewing.
Let's see.
Do you want me to go as you finish chewing?
Yeah, go. Mm-hmm.
My pick for candy corn is just every idol show collectively. Just all of idol anime is candy corn. You either love the hyper sweetness or you just have some serious mental issues that makes you enjoy this. No, it's fine. But essentially, you try it every year and you're like, it's not really that good. It's not really for me. But it comes up again next year and you're like, maybe something new will happen. Maybe it'll taste different. And it never does. It's always the same. It's always the same
shit.
formula. It's always the same sweetness. And you get bamboozled every time. And that's idol anime. And that's candy corn.
Fucking candy corn.
For me, candy corn is Neon Genesis Evangelion.
What?
Not because I think the quality of candy corn equates to the quality of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Me personally, not huge on the show. Like, I'm not huge on candy corn, but that's besides the point. Candy corn is iconic. It is Halloween, even if we don't like it. And that's the same thing with Neon Genesis Evangelion. Even if people know they don't like it, it is something you are expected to do. You are expected to watch it. So, for that reason, it is candy corn.
Okay, I see it. Thematically similar.
Yes.
I get you. Next up, hot tamales, Mitz.
Hot tamales are basically a terrible candy that's made primarily out of cinnamon flavor. I doubt it has real cinnamon in it because that's just expensive. But there's actually an anime with the word cinnamon in the title. It's Oda Cinnamon no Nobunaga, which is about I think it's about a Nobunaga getting reincarnated as a Shiba Inu.
Yes.
And
I'm familiar.
There you go. Enjoy that.
Candy corn.
Which is different from the other Nobunagas, like Nobunaga Concerto and Nobunaga no Yabo. You still eating your candy, Caroline? There are two more that you haven't seen.
Mitsuki, stop!
Yeah. And and Nobunaga the Fool, and a couple other anime that are not good.
You're really gonna add in another one?
He's just trying to make Neon Genesis Evangelion feel like candy corn because it is pain, and he's making you go through it.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Pretty much all of the Nobunaga anime are bad. I don't think I've ever seen one that was good. Nobunaga Concerto is okay. But Hot Tamales, similarly, they're not a good candy. They suck. And you will probably be in more pain than you will be enjoying it. Yeah. Next.
For hot tamales, I put down Shokugeki no Soma because it's spicy. People take their clothes off in that show. And also a lot of spices are involved.
I take off my clothes when I eat hot tamales.
So therefore, hot tamales. And I think somebody in the Twitch chat said that Shokugeki no Soma should have been bento, should have taken the place of bento for the Snickers comparison. But I had you covered. Hot tamales.
Nice. Obviously, hot tamales are, as Mitt said, not good at all. They're spicy just for spicy's sake. So Elfen Lied, gotta go. It's a show that's there just to offend and be scintillating, but actually not good in any way. Next up,
people like Elfen Lied, mostly because it's excessively violent.
Yeah, and they have problems, just like the people who like hot tamales. Next up, we have Payday, a very simple caramel, nuts. That's it. But what do we think is like payday, Mitz?
Rent a girlfriend, and there's two reasons. Well, you might think it's because she gets paid to be rented, but really it's because this is just like one of those candies that has like no, like you always wait for it to be good, but then ultimately it's not, and so you will just wait forever for Rent a Girlfriend to not suck.
No, it's the same flavor every bite. It's not going anywhere.
But mostly it's because it's about a girl that gets her payday every time she tolerates what's his fuck. So
there you go.
yeah.
Caroline, payday.
Payday, I put down. I needed time to think about this one. Like you see, I feel like paydays are kind of like a naked candy. Like you see the inside, and when really you think there should be some sort of covering over, the payday itself. And so for that reason, I put down Shirobako because you get to see the inside world of anime.
I like it. It's not where my head was at, but that's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, I really took time with that one.
Hey, it's all good. Obviously, payday, we're going to go with panty and stocking with garter belt because it's nuts. And that's all there is to say. Tootsie Roll. Mitsugi.
Yes, this one is similar to the last one. Tootsie Rolls are a candy that you eat, and you think it's going to be good. You think that eventually, halfway through the experience of eating said Tootsie Roll, that it will indeed not suck. But unless it's like one of those strawberry flavored Tootsie Rolls, it will always be bad. And so, my dress-up darling, it looks like it should be good, but in reality, you're going to watch that whole fucking show, and you're never going to get what you want, except blue balls. And so that's why this is like a Tootsie Roll, because you will wait and wait throughout the whole experience for it to be good, and it never will be.
You see, when I came up with this idea for the topic, I used Tootsie Rolls as an example, and I put that example for my answer here. But I hate Tootsie Rolls. So again, I was saying like, this stuff is so bad, and yet they are everywhere. And you said Tootsie Rolls are decent. You have it here in writing.
I'm playing by my own rules here, Caroline.
You lie.
He's a man in a Sailor
Don't poke
Mars
the bear, or I'll
costume,
name more anime you haven't
pouring
watched.
coffee. He's listening to no one else right now.
I'm on like my 6th cup of coffee, okay? And
Wow.
You see those knuckles? They're bruised. He had to beat people up for this.
I kicked the shit out of someone last night. They're probably still laying in that person's yard.
Anyway,
You got knocked the
continue,
fuck
Caroline.
out!
Okay,
Give me
so
my
we
chain.
got my answer here. For the example that I gave, I put down any generic isekai as being like the Tootsie Rolls of anime because nobody likes them. Nobody eats them.
I'll do the Tootsie Roll right here in this fucking
and yet
costume.
we still get them with the expectation we're supposed to watch them. So how are they still getting made, and why are people still buying them? And that is my opinion on Tootsie Rolls. Like, the main thing is that they look like chocolate, but they are not chocolate, and whatever it is gross. So that is my roast of Tootsies.
I agree with Caroline. I'm not a big Tootsie Roll fan, so I'm going to go with the Fate series is like a Tootsie Roll because the main flavor, it's chocolate. It's like okay, but it kind of looks like poop. So I like the spin-offs a lot more. Like, give me the vanilla Tootsie Rolls. Give me the like offshoot ones, the ones where they're like cooking and not doing any of that Fate
Cooking,
whatever
baby.
stuff. That's what I'm about. Give me those Tootsie Rolls, not the chocolate one.
Ugh.
Hard pass on that.
Smoke a few. I might have before we started.
Three Musketeers.
I got this fucking cat hair in my mouth. This is what happens when you have long-haired cats. Says
You
that,
were also kissing your cat earlier, so I know.
fair
why.
enough. Says that vanilla Tootsie Rolls are great. I'm here to tell you something. Smoke
I
a
like
few.
them.
And you, Mason, you can hear this too. Vanilla Tootsie Rolls fucking suck. Okay, they make me sad, and nobody wants to see Sailor Mars cry.
That's true.
She
That's
cries
true.
tears of flame.
Three Musketeers, Mitz. Tell us about why it is what it is.
Well, there's actually an anime called Three Musketeers. And so that's what I picked. It's from like 1973 or some shit. But it's the Three Musketeers anime. So there you go.
There we go.
Fucking
Facts.
beat that, okay? Literally. Do it.
Caroline.
But Three Musketeers, sneaky underrated candy bar, has a very like easy texture. Maybe beep.
We're gonna disagree again, but I'll wait my turn.
Three Musketeers. I put down Spy X Family because it's sweet. People like it a lot. And there's 3 of them, if you don't count the dog in the 2nd season. So that's it. That's my reasoning.
Puss in
God bless
Boots.
Bond. So good. Three Musketeers is not a good candy bar. My anime like it is the Order a Rabbit, because the Three Musketeers is full of that fua fluffiness, but nothing else. It just leaves you empty and disappointed, and you want something with more oomph to it. It's like the opposite of a Payday. It's not dense. It's not satisfying. It's just for soft babies who don't even have the teeth to get through this thing. So yeah, it's just a fluffy moe show, and that's what Three Musketeers is.
Mason coming in hot with the fucking thunder. Scorched earth, motherfucker.
Junior Mints, Caroline. And Mints you if you feel so inspired.
Oh, yeah.
Junior Mints, I feel like, are palate cleansers. And for me, that's Mushishi. Because, you know, it's chill. You have an episode every once in a while. It's calm. And it refreshes you, I feel like. So that's why I put down Mushishi.
I think this is the closest our list will be similar, because I have the similar concept. Junior Mints are cool. They're refreshing. They're not great for, like, constantly consuming it. But after, like, the hustle and bustle of, like, milk chocolate day in and day out and all that screaming in anime, it's good to have something calm. So I went with Bartender, which is very stylistically similar to Mushishi in a lot of ways. But next up we have Twizzlers, and I don't think our 2 picks here could be more different, but tell me why Eurocamp is like a Twizzler.
I put down Eurocamp because in my family, we eat Twizzlers all the time when we go on road trips.
Okay.
Like, that is our road trip snack. And I feel, and even though Eurocamp isn't necessarily about road trips, more about camping, obviously, I feel like it was close enough. And also, if my family were to ever go camping, which, I mean, I wish to never see the day because we would absolutely suck at camping, I feel like Twizzlers would be the snack for camping that the Eurocampers would also eat.
Yeah. For myself, I went with Death Note for Twizzlers, because we all love Twizzlers because they're half candy, half straw, half sibling striking device. Like, the Twizzler is a very simple concept, but it does a lot with it, you know? And that's kind of what Death Note is. Like, it's pretty much just he has a book where he can kill people. That's it, but it really goes and stretches that as far as it can. And while the flavor only holds up so long, it's pretty solid while it lasts. So that's why I picked Death Note. Up next, we have Skittles, which is similar to M&M's. So is that why you chose the same show?
Yes, I chose Gintama for Skittles.
Lots of pieces, lots of Gintama.
Like, as you said, they look very similar to M&M's. And Gintama has this certain way of being Gintama and then changing the tone of it so it's not Gintama in a very startling fashion. So I thought, perfect. And also, what is more Gintama than putting it as both M&M's and Skittles? The end.
Interesting.
Also, your mom is roasting me in the chat. She thinks I look like the saddest ghost ever.
It's a great ghost costume. Don't complain.
And I love when she says, I wish you could see what you look like right now, Caroline.
Oh, we know.
And I'm like, I know. I have the stream right here on my phone.
Caroline's like, I see myself on 2 screens right now. I'm more than aware. If you guys aren't watching the Twitch stream, which we do live every Sunday at 5 p.m., or on YouTube, you're missing out on some of this quality content.
I just shoved my balls.
Indeed, you did.
Skittles, I was kicking up my high heels, baby, because you know what? I'm drinking my coffee, listening to you guys talk about nonsense. Oh, I just spilled coffee on my gloves.
Oh, no.
Oh, the dry cleaner. Oh, the bill.
So for Skittles, I picked Haikyuu because it's not about a single piece of candy. It's about the collective. And there's so many different flavors of Haikyuu in little packets that you can love. You can like the original and like Karasuno. You can be tropical and like Nekuma. You can like wild berry and like Date Tek. You can be sour and like Abajosha. You can like the smoothie version, like Fukuro Dai or whatever it's called. Like, there's so many different flavor packs to love. And they all come together to make a really good show. So that's what Haikyuu is. It's Skittles. Now we're moving on to a big boy, Twix,
Twigs.
which yours makes sense, Caroline, but explain why.
All right, so I put down Death Note for Twix because, as the commercials tell you, you have to pick a side. And most people are picking a side when they watch Death Note. They're either like, Kira is awesome on their side, L, awesome on their side. And obviously, Kira is the villain of the show. It's kind of hard to not love that charisma, you know? And I personally kind of wanted to see him win in Death Note. But that didn't happen. Spoiler alert. So, for that reason, and because Elle and Kira are like conjoined at the hip at a lot of the parts in the show, I feel like this works.
Caroline, are you left Twix or right Twix?
I actually don't eat Twix very often.
Oh, go
But
figure.
Probably would be right Twix.
There you go. I had a similar concept to you with the, two people to choose from. I went with ReZero because it kind of pits two waifus against one another to raise attention. And after you eat one Twix, you have to repeat and do it all over again and eat another one. So that's kind of how ReZero works. So we're joking over here. We're having a good time. Whoppers. I think we're gonna have some strong opinions about this one. What is a Whopper to you, Mitsugi?
Does that answer your question?
It does.
A Whopper is
Partially.
like one piece.
Ooh, okay.
And bear with me here. So
Piece.
it's because when you get a big ass bag of like mixed candy, or when you're at the office and there's like, people have like a big bucket of candy in front of their desk or something. Both of these happen, all right? They always sell you the giant overpriced mixed bag of candy so you can have everything you need for Halloween, and then everybody's sad because you're giving them the same shit everybody else is giving. But when you get to the bottom of that bag, there will be a million Whoppers left and nothing else, because people, you can truly learn what the shittiest candies are when you're at the office and there's like a giant bucket that has like 10 different types of candy in it. And within like a day, it's down to just like the two that nobody wants. It's always like Jolly Ranchers and Whoppers. Nobody wants these. And then ultimately the Jolly Ranchers will go because people are desperate for sugar. And then you'll just have the Whoppers. That's the wrong choice. Jolly Ranchers are worse than Whoppers. But the Whopper is like, there's a million of them in the bag. Nobody wants to eat them. But they might eventually because it's the only thing that's there. And I feel like that's like One Piece because, first of all, there's a million episodes of One Piece. You're aware that it's there, but nobody wants to fucking eat that shit. And that's the bottom line. And it might just be because they're never going to get to the bottom of that bag because there's too much in there.
Maybe. It's the Whop piece. What do you got, Caroline?
This is the point where I got very lazy and couldn't think of stuff because I was running out of time. But I feel like this one makes at least a little bit of sense with whatever reasoning I chose. I put down the Fate series because, as Mitsugi mentioned, there are not a lot of fans of Whoppers, but those who are fans of Whoppers, they love Whoppers. And I feel like it's similar with the Fate series. And I'm not saying like I can't even say if the Fate series is good or not because I haven't seen it. But I feel like it's just a difficult show to get into because there's just so many parts to it. And similarly, Whoppers are just difficult to really like. So, yes, that's my answer.
My Whopper show is Fire Force because you try it once and you're like, this isn't very good. And then you grab it a second time and it's still not good. And that's kind of what it's like watching that show.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is that there's 3 Whoppers in every bag. So,
that's when you throw it out.
You must suffer 3 times or dump that shit. So
next up, Laffy Taffy, Mitts.
Excel Saga.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
Because it's funny. And that anime is just fucking crazy, as if it's like being pulled. You ever seen a machine that pulls taffy? What that looks like?
Yeah.
That's Excel Saga. Have you seen Excel Saga, Caroline?
I've seen part of it for an anime club.
Does that count? Does that count, Mason?
Yes. If I have seen at least one episode, I can say I've seen it.
Okay. Next.
Yeah,
and I
Laffy-
couldn't think of one for Laffy Taffy. So Mason,
No, that's all good. Laffy Taffy to me is like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Like, it's very artificial. It's full of like questionable content that like clings to your teeth and is really annoying. But there are some okay jokes every now and then. So it's kind of like Laffy Taffy. Next,
I'm sure Anime Satan would agree with you. It's pretty odd that he likes Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. He wanted
bit
to
of a
be
word
Kana.
flex.
He's so cute. Have you?
100 grand. I was the only one who had something here.
The fuck is the 100 grand?
grand
What does that even
is
taste like?
underappreciated and unique. It's got like rice crisp in it, and it has a cool like texture to it, and it's kind of chewy, and it's like bland and lustrous. It just hits different than anything else, and it's underappreciated. It deserves some love. But we're down to our last two big name ones. First up, we have Kit Kat. Caroline, lay it on us.
again, I got really lazy with these because I love Kit Kats and Reese's Cups. Everybody loves Kit Kats and Reese's Cups. For Kit Kat, I put down Mob Psycho 100 because it's good. That's it.
Love it. I love it. Candy good, show good. What more you need to say? As Mitz continues to strip in very lewd, lascivious manner. My Kit Kat is Monogatari series because the first question is, how do I consume it? Do you eat one piece at a time? Do you break it off? Like with Kizu Monogatari? You just chomp across the whole thing like a madman and watch it in chronological event order? Like, either way, you end up happy, a little bit queasy, and you feel like you need to brush your teeth afterwards. And finally, Reese's Cups. Reese's Cups. What do we think of this one, Mitz?
Chainsaw Man.
Ooh, was not expecting that. And why would you say that?
Many people will tell you Reese's Cups are the best candy. You're going to get a lot of people. My opinion would be that if you asked a million people what their favorite candy is in the United States, Reese's Cups and Sour Patch Kids will be in the top 3. The third one, I don't know, but Chainsaw Man is, as we know, the best anime that's ever been made. And it will save anime, and it will save candy too. And so that is why Chainsaw Man is like a Reese's, because there's just nothing better.
Have you seen any of Chainsaw Man yet, Mitz?
I saw episode 1. It was very bloody.
Okay, there you go. Just like Reese's Cups. Hinamatsuri, or sorry, I spoiled it. Delete it. Cancel it. Oh my goodness, Caroline.
I put down Hinamatsuri for Reese's Cups. Again, it's good, and I love it, and that's why I put it as Reese's Cups. But now that I think about it, it also has a good mixture of sweet and salty because there's a lot of deadpan jokes in it. Although, actually, now that I think about it, Asobi Asobase might be a better fit for Reese's Cups because, again, sweet, salty, and mix into one. So, there you go.
Sounds good. Obviously, Reese's Cups, one of the goats, so I had to go with Ping Pong because usually on Halloween you just get a single Reese's Cup. It's just one season, but it's all you need. It's often like misshapen a bit. It's sometimes a little smashed, a little melted. It doesn't appear to be much, but it's a simple makeup with a complex flavor from the perfect duo, and you'll never say no to it. You know, it just always delivers exactly what you needed. So it's one of the best and deservedly like one of the best anime. So that was our list of arbitrarily comparing candy to shows. Let us know what candies are good, how bad we did, your own suggestions, and hopefully we didn't make you too hungry. But by the time you're eating this, actually,
Top
you're
candies.
listening to this, your Halloween's over, so you have all this extra candy, so you can just chug away and let us know.
Yeah,
So,
my
top
house
candies,
never gets
what are your top
trick-or-treaters.
3?
We
Yeah.
got like one trick-or-treater a year, and yet my dad insists on buying 3 massive bags of
Hell
candy.
yeah.
It's like,
Hell yeah. You
there's
never know.
no way in hell that we're going to get through that, except by ourselves, which is exactly why he bought it.
Caroline, top 3 candies, go.
Oh, Kit Kat, Crunch, and man, I guess Reese's Cup, but I probably could think of a better third one.
Mitsuki, what do you got?
Am I allowed to deviate from the list we have in front of us?
Of course. Yeah.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Yep.
And this is no particular order. Sour Patch Kids and Sweet Tart Ropes.
Sweet tart ropes.
The ones
Wow,
that have
that's
You
the,
just like
top
it
tier
because
one.
you like saying the word ropes.
the
You
one that
dirty boy.
thick ropes. Hot, thick ropes.
Reese's Cups, Snickers, and I don't know. That's it. That's all you get from me.
Caroline, I just want you to know that I wasn't even going to say anything like that, but then Mason said it.
It's an alley-oop, my guy. What do you
It's
want
an
from me?
alley-oop, slam dunk, baby. We just won the fucking game. That's right. All right.
Oh my goodness. Would you like to let the good people at home know the trivia question?
Of course. In Chainsaw Man, what is the name of the unit of devil hunters that Denji is assigned to? And we will get to the answer after the news break. Woo! My hand is coming out of the hole of my costume. Ah.
Hey, all you ghosts and ghouls out there. Happy Halloween. This is Mitsugi, and it's time for your anime news break. Getting us started off with some MAPPA news. In the winter of 2023, MAPPA is going to be adapting Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill, a light novel and isekai property. So if you're a fan of MAPPA and isekais, this one is definitely going to be for you. Directed by Kiyoshi Matsuda of Kakegurui XX. The synopsis is about three heroes that are transported into a fantasy world to rescue a kingdom from a mysterious threat. However, it soon becomes clear that Tsuyoshi, one of the heroes, has been dragged into the summoning ritual by accident. His only skill turns out to be the food menu, which allows him to open an interface where he can purchase and obtain food-related supermarket items from modern Japan. So, interesting premise. They just never run out of things to make isekais out of. But this is Studio Mappa, and it seems to be on fire lately, so look out for that one coming up soon. Next, Makoto Shinkai's new film Suzume has been released with a realistic earthquake alarm scene warning. In Japan, there's a lot of very PTSD sort of psychology about earthquakes because there are lots of them, and earthquake alarms are some of the most horrific sounding things I've ever heard in my life. Well, this film contains scenes with both earthquakes and earthquake alarms, so I guess you'll get to hear what an earthquake alarm sounds like, and they are putting out quote-unquote, trigger warnings for people that have had bad experiences with earthquakes in the past. The film is going to be opening in Japan on November 11th, which is just around the corner, and it's probably going to be coming out here soon as well, maybe even to U.S. theaters, so look out for that. Next up, another anime property getting made into an anime in 2023, the manga Dosanko ga wa Namara Menkoi, or Hokkaido Girls Are Super Adorable, is getting an anime adaptation. Ayane Sakura of Quintessential Quintuplets is going to be starring as Minami Fuyuki, one of the main characters in the anime. Tsubasa just moved from Tokyo to Hokkaido, which is quite a change, by the way, in the middle of winter, not quite appreciating how far apart the two towns would be in terms of just how they are. He gets off the taxi at the next town over from his destination so he can see the sights around his home, but is shocked when he learns that, quote, the next town is a 3-hour walk. Wow, that has to suck. So, just some culture shock for moving from the city to the country, but hey, I guess there are going to be tons of irresistible cute girls in store. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. Now time to get back to the podcast. Oh, anime addicts out there, for those of you that dread checking your mail every day, as I do, then you know that there's nothing scarier in this world during the Halloween season or otherwise than bills. Bills. Second place to taxes and the frights of the world. And the podcast has a lot of bills to pay all the time. Very frightening. If you want to support the podcast and help out, you can go to aapodcast.com/join or Patreon. We love you so much, and we're going to give you 8 exclusive podcast episodes per month just for helping out the show. It's a pretty generous amount of extra content for you to enjoy. You'll be doing a good thing supporting the podcast, and we'll try to make sure that you never run out of entertainment. Again, that's aapodcast.com/join or Patreon. We got to fight back against the horrors of the world known as bills. Ooh, scary. Welcome back to the spooky Halloween episode. In Chainsaw Man, what is the name of the unit of devil hunters that Denji is assigned to? Special Division 4 4番でござる. All right. And we're glad to be back to the show with you guys today, and I hope everybody is enjoying an extra special spooky Halloween episode. It's time for Unexplored Pictures with Mason. Mason, do you feel like you're ready to deliver?
I think so.
Get your popcorn ready. It's time for Unexplored Pictures with Mason.
In this episode of Unexplored Pictures, where I talk about new or old movies that deserve more attention, we have Poop Hell of Chimney Town. This is a 2020 film that's 100 minutes long that comes to us from the incomparable Studio 4C. And this was released in theaters at like the worst possible time. It came out right around COVID, and I just felt like no one really got their eyes on it. But right now you can watch it on Apple TV or YouTube for like $2 or on Amazon. I think it's very low cost, and it is kind of Halloween themed because on Halloween night, a small crystal descends into this town that's full of smokestacks, and it feels a lot like a steampunk version of Final Fantasy VII's Midgar. Like it just has these blinking, twinkling lights and just this dark, desolate world. And this little crystal has this being in it that's like a Fooly Cooly Conti mixed with a scarecrow that's stitched together from various materials. And he kind of shambles his way into town where there's this big song and dance number because it is Halloween night. And everyone is like, oh, this guy has a great costume. And they go around and trick-or-treating, and it's a bunch of fun. And everyone starts taking off their costumes at the end of the night. And this person's like, no, this is how I am. And everyone's like, what the heck? You're some weird monster entity. And they call him the Garbage Man. And about the same time, we meet this other young boy named Lubici, who's this chimney sweep, who doesn't have many friends, which is to say he has no friends. And he kind of sees our monstrous Garbage Man in peril and says, I'm going to go help that boy and save him. And they have this big chase sequence that kind of reminds me of like Toy Story 3 going into the incinerator. And the two kind of become friends. And they kind of, that's the kickoff point for this whole story of them trying to fulfill the wishes of a father figure, rebel against the man, the concept, the person who's keeping this whole city and this smoky residue for big secrets. But it's a pretty solid movie. It's more aimed for kids, and it does have some weird like economic complexity things that I don't think would be great for a kid, but it doesn't dwell on it for too long. And it's very easy to follow. It's very predictable, but it is just these two characters that you kind of grow to love overcoming the system. And it's not scary or frightening, but it does have that Halloween feel from the designs, the lighting, and it kind of has that same ricketiness that Nightmare Before Christmas does because it's done with a lot of CG rigs, and they look pretty cool. And while I would say at the end of the day, it's more for a kid than an adult, like if you had some kids maybe between 7 or 11 years old who just want something zany but different than the normal like holiday fare, give Poop Hell of Chimney Town a shot. Like you could do a whole lot worse because it does have a lot of tender and powerful moments that carry it through the childish moments. So I enjoyed my time with it, as drawn out as it was, and it just has a cool visual style. So check it out if you feel so inclined. That's it. Quick
I love
and easy.
Midgar.
Yeah,
And
it's a cool little town.
It's my background wallpaper at work. It's oh boy, I'm sad that the follow up to Final Fantasy VII remake won't really be in Midgar very much, but at least it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
but I do love Midgar though. All right, well, thank you, Mason. Sounds like a cool movie that no one saw. So
pretty much.
Very
That's
unfortunate.
kind of how Studio 4C is.
All right, you guys ready for mailbags?
For their own good. Let's do it.
All right, let's get
It's
to mailbag.
time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
let's get to mailbags, which you can submit on AAApodcast.com. Click the mailbag button. You can send us any question or concern that you want. And we have one from Rise of the Shiv Hero. Now, this one is a little bit of a dark message that we got sent. He says, hey, AAA. Thanks a million for making my job bearable. I make cables for torpedoes, so you guys help distract me from the lives my work will be taking. You're welcome.
That's fucking pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm listening to older episodes and I caught something. In the Slime 2 impression, Mitsuki mentions the show is more of the same. They need to have people invade the town and kill some characters, ... and fails the show. Guess what happens in season 2? People invade the town and murk some main characters, then Rimuru goes and mass genocides a bunch of people. I thought it was pretty funny. Love you guys. Keep my anime addiction on the path to failure.
Love you too. Too little, too late. I'm not gonna watch 70 episodes to get to the massacre. So, man, it felt like that show was had 4 seasons, and then nobody really cared after the first couple. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but all right. Next mailbag.
Oh, that's me. I was reading the chat. They were asking about what thing I was talking about. This comes from Lapis. Hi, Addicts. I was thinking about this while hopping from streaming service to find anime and wondered, what are your top 5 picks for each network? Or, what are your top 5 favorite networks to watch anime on? From Crunchyroll, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Netflix, HBO, Peacock, Funimation. What are your favorite places to watch anime on? Thanks.
I think their question really meant what's your favorite anime on those platforms. But
That's not
did
how
not
I
have the
interpreted it.
patience.
I figured it's
what.
What? I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of like
that's
asking.
That's why I assumed at first, but it's a very loaded question. I just didn't have the patience for, unfortunately.
What streaming services do you guys prefer?
Well, Netflix is the best streaming service by a mile. I mean, it really has. It's bad when Verve or High Dive's audio player is worse than the ones you find on pirate sites, and it 100% is most of the time. Netflix actually has a lot of quality of life features on their app that makes it nice to use. I mean, it'll auto skip the ending. You can skip the intro. It loads quickly. It has scrubbing. It's got fucking 9 languages usually. I mean, it's got pretty much everything that you'd expect from a company with endless revenue and endless cash to use to make their shit good. Past that, as far as ones that have anime, Verve is what I usually use because that has most shows. Retro Crush is pretty neat for the old stuff. And if I had to throw 2 more in there, since you wanted 5, that I don't have any other anime. I'm not going to get High Dive. I'm not going to pay for that. Peacock and HBO are pretty good. I'm sure Peacock might get the World Cup in a couple weeks here. Maybe. I'm not really sure, but that would be neat.
For me, I also believe that Netflix is the superior platform, but I actually prefer why can't I talk? I actually prefer Crunchyroll over it because you see, I will sometimes put on Netflix and I'll watch it with my family, and then I'll see all of these suggestions regarding anime and everything that I'm watching, and so I still get a little bit embarrassed when they
have different accounts.
Well, yeah, we do have different servers and stuff, but if we're sitting down watching together and we go onto mine, then they'll see all these suggestions, and they'll also see that I'm watching stuff like Bastard, which is they wouldn't know what it really is, but still, it's kind of strange to have that there. So I guess prefer Crunchyroll because they don't have any reason to see that. So
sounds good. I have no comment on this. Yeah. Well, we're here. Impressions. Do you want to do the drop? Because Mitsugi... Actually, no, we'll just wait for him. We'll stall for time.
We're going to be doing impressions.
Impression time! Believe it!
He was hiding. I didn't see him. Week 2 of impressions. We currently have 1 show passed, which is Bocchi the Rock. And we have this episode and 1 more episode. And then we'll leave it up to you guys to pick our final 3 shows. So once again, we're going to pass 6 shows between the 3 of us, and then you guys pick the last 3, and those are the 9 shows we will review from the fall 2022 season. So, who is starting us off? I believe the big, strong, manly man who wasn't here last week.
Yeah, you got it. That's right. Big, strong, manly man. Appreciate that. So I am going to do... My first pick here is going to be Mobile Suit Gundam, the Witch of Mercury. I'm going to start off with that. Oh, a long line of Mobile Suit anime. I feel like I've seen not much of it, you know. In the grand scheme of things, there's probably just ballparking, 20 Gundam shows. I've probably seen about 4 of them. So I haven't really seen much. You know, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not much of a Gundam expert. I don't know the difference between all the timelines. I don't know all the character references. But, you know, I'm not a total dunce. I've seen a lot of mecha shows. I feel like I've seen most of the ones that are relevant outside of Gundam, but for some reason Gundam was just too daunting to ever jump into. So, of course, this is a Sunrise anime because Sunrise makes pretty much all of the Gundam stuff. And this is an original title. So, this anime is set in the far future in which humans have developed this technology called Gund, G-U-N-D, sometimes referred to as Gundam, and which is like it's not that far from Gundam, Gundam. So that's pretty much the play on words. And the Gundam technology allows humans to connect their brains directly to the mobile suit, the Gundam. And this has become somewhat of a controversial technology because it puts a lot of strain on the humans that are piloting. And so because of this, there is actually in episode 0, which is where I started, there's a sponsor for this technology development. So, but the sponsor decides to pull out, and they form a regulatory body that ends up deciding that they want to stop the development of these Gundams, I guess. And so they send a military group to lay down an assault on the research facility and the group that's developing this. And that's how episode 0 starts with the main character and the main character's mother. The main character's, I definitely don't know the main character's mother's name, but Suletta is the girl. And so, the Gundam actually activates in response to her biosigns when she's in there, and the Gundam they just wipe the floor with some of these attacking mechs, but all the damage is done because the facility's largely been destroyed. And then in episode 2, it jumps into the future a bit, and Suletta is transported to this school called Asakasia, which is like a pilot school, sort of. And that's pretty much why I was talking shit on this before, because I don't know. It's like every other anime it takes place in a goddamn school. So you would think to yourself, oh, fuck, why not this one? Every other anime already is, which really was annoying because, I want something different from Gundam, frankly. And when they get to the school, Suletta is pretty naive about the world, and she's ultimately surrounded by other students that just seem like a bunch of assholes. I mean, none of them really are all that friendly. There's this girl named Rembrandt is her last name, and she's like about as unfriendly as a person will be, and that's pretty much the other main character. And then there's a guy called Gyul. They have really brutal names in this. Gyul Jaturk is his name, and he's...
Wow.
Is this the right guy? I can't remember any of their names. Their names are so insane. So he's like this top pilot at the school, and they have these duels to challenge each other. And so the white-haired girl, Rembrandt, and Jaturk end up dueling, and he's just wrecking her, basically, because he's the best and she's not. And then halfway through the fight, Suletta comes in her Gundam and absolutely just demolishes Ghoul. I mean, it's like, if he's better than everybody else at the school, she just absolutely it was like Shaquille O'Neal dunking on a third grader, honestly. So she must be like a literal god compared to most of the people. But it's determined that she's piloting a Gundam, which she is because it came from the research facility that that was attacked before. And so like the second episode, which is really the third episode, is all about whether or not that she should be allowed to have this Gundam if they're going to like destroy it or whatever. So actually this show is a little better than I thought. It looks pretty good. The action scenes were good, but they're short, I would say. The duel didn't last very long, and that might just be because she's so much better, than the main guy, than the guy she was dueling. But I'm gonna start us off here on a positive note. I'm gonna pass this. I'm not gonna pass up on a Gundam show that isn't about fucking Gunpla.
Yes. Now this is gonna be a good story.
There you go. Take it.
Hey, that's promising. My first show I'm going to talk about today is C Danchi, or Housing Complex C. This is a 4-episode show streaming on Adult Swim or Toonami or HBO Max. It's done by a newish studio with a first-time director. And here's my theory about how this show came about. So back in June of 2021, there was a streaming thing that put out by the director of Uzumaki. The director, Hiroshi, came on and he was like, guys, there's a pandemic. We have to restructure our plan. Uzumaki will not be able to come out on time. It will be delayed into October 2022. And someone was like, okay, well, it's still going to come out in October 22. We'll air that this year. And they had to delay it again, but no one got that memo. So Adult Swim still had a 4-episode anime slotted to air. And like a month ago, someone figured out, oh shoot, they delayed it. We need to come out with something really quick, as slapdash as we can possibly imagine. It's got to be scary, but I have no idea. Let's just write it as we go. And that's what this show is, because it is so quickly done and so poorly done that it's not very good. Like, it's an example of how you can have all the things that make something scary. The show has blood. It has stale, boring, repetitive exposition. It has darkness. It has bugs. It has more stale, boring expository exposition. It has basements. It has occult symbols. It has screaming children. And it has even more stale, boring, repetitive exposition. It has rainbows, illusions, and, you guessed it, more stale, boring, repetitive exposition. It is so bad in so many ways. It's just a very heavy-handed take on how racism is bad, and you have to learn from history or you're going to repeat it, and you can't anger the gods, and you have to be a good person. And to the show's credit, there's just enough of a twist at the very end to not make it straight up abysmal. But I watched this entire thing just to tell you that if it were to be passed, it would get like a 1 out of 5. Like, it's just not. There's no value here. Don't watch it. It's just not great. It's 4 episodes. Hopefully, this was a sacrificial lamb, so Uzumaki will be good. But I don't know. So Sidanshi will be failed.
I was surrounded by the suck.
Perfect.
Indeed.
My one and only show that I'll be talking about today is Raven of the Inner Palace. Now, this is an anime that takes place in China, but, of course, spoken in Japanese. And it's about a woman who is known as the Raven Consort to the Emperor. Now, and this is takes place in the far past, but I think it's more of a fantastical version of China. So we have the Raven Consort. Her name is Shou Xue, and she is not really a consort in the typical meaning. Like, she doesn't perform, knightly duties to the Emperor. She's actually a Frankly, Mitsuki, the candy corn. I'll put that down for later. So she is actually more of a sorceress, I guess you might call her. She has magical abilities and is there to be like a spiritual consultant, and is available to help people with their problems regarding, spirits and actually anything really. She will perform any task that can help people, but for a price. And she says straight out, if you want me to take a life, you have to give up your own life in return, that kind of thing. But that doesn't really come into play all that much. Nobody really pays any drastic of a price. so far that I've seen in this show. But she does help people, like we learn about the characters within the palace walls, like the different princesses and other consorts, and the drama behind the doors where there's a lot of animosity between the people competing for the emperor's attention. Some of them have been murdered for it. And now there's a new emperor that overtook the old dynasty right as the first episode happened. So he, while being a prince, he was ousted and he returned to take his rightful place on the throne back. And so they kind of spark up an interesting relationship. It is very kind of like a little bit of a shoujo, I guess it feels like a shoujo a little bit to me anyway. And she kind of plays a tsundere part a little bit, but she's just really nice and she doesn't really talk to a lot of people outside of her job, and they're also very afraid of her. They don't really, like, people say, oh, she looks like an old woman. Oh, she looks like a little girl. She's like 16 years old. I think it's just because they are afraid to approach her. And so she does have these magical powers. They do use this sequence, this animated sequence, a lot. It's like the same sequence where she takes like the flower ornament out of her hair, and that kind of activates whatever power that she's or whatever special ability she is trying to use. And they use that sequence like maybe twice an episode. It feels like it gets a little much because it's very obviously, it kind of looks like a magical girl transformation sequence, but not really.
Oh, I know those.
Shush. Yeah, so, but it is interesting. I like the characters. One thing that is a little bit difficult with the show, though, is because all the names are in Chinese and they're speaking Japanese, they sound completely different than the way they are spelled. Like, it's very confusing. I'm not sure if it's because they are saying the names as they would in Japanese, which I don't think so, because I feel like I would recognize that. I guess they might just be taking Chinese names and saying it with their accents. It's very confusing. It makes it hard to keep track of characters, especially when there's quite a few of them that look very similar. But yeah, I like the relationship between Shoshui and the Emperor, and it looks like there's secrets behind how the Emperor and the Raven consorts relationship is. Like I said, like, oh, they're like oil and water, and I guess they'll get to why. And just overall, I think it's very good. So we are passing it.
I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on.
What's this? What's this? Did we just pass 2 shows?
What's this?
Oh my
What's
goodness.
this? I really think we did.
Would you like to see my toes?
No.
I showed them to you
Candy
anyway.
corn.
Yeah, there you go. What, toes are lewd? Come on,
Yeah.
you have them.
But you know why.
So, all right, interesting. Very nice. Okay, next up on the docket is, we sound so positive. We're like, yeah, I love these shows. Next up, Fufu Ijo Koibito Mimam, or otherwise known as More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers. The latest in a long win streak. I'll just call it a win streak. The latest in a long win streak of seasonal trash. Just utter fucking trash. There's a trash show every season. We had last season it was Rent a Girlfriend again, and probably another one. And now it's More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers. So these third year high school students, they're about to graduate. So before I get the argument of, oh, they're just little kids, like no, they're not. They're 18. Probably some of them are even older than 18. So they're basically college students that have to take a class where they have to be married with another person, another randomly selected girl in their class, in order to pass and graduate. So they have to do a good job. There's like a thing on the wall in the living room, and whenever they do good married couple type things, they get points. And when they do bad married couple things like fighting or whatever, they lose points.
I feel like fighting is a pretty major part of being in a relationship that should not be outlawed, though.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I would tell you that if you're in a relationship where you never fight, that also is not good. So,
although honestly, the idea of like having to pass being a married couple in high school, is it not a little similar to having to, take care of a fake baby?
Japan needs this so badly. Oh my God, they need it even more than the baby. You got to get to this point before you get the baby most of the time. So, so that's what happens. This kid, this otaku type guy, gets, his name's Jiro. He gets paired up with Akari, who is a gyaru girl. And a gyaru girl means that they like adhere to certain like physical appearance standards. Like they would do their hair a certain way, they wear certain clothes. I didn't really think she looked very gyaru to me. Like, I don't know. If you look up Akari and you look up gyaru girl on Google, they don't look remotely similar. So I whatever.
She has the gyaru mindset.
I guess, but that might be all. Anyway, she's insanely hot. She's even hotter than fucking Marin from Dress Up Darling. There's absolutely no doubt. He gets paired with this girl, and by the way, if the students do a good job of being married, if they have like one of the highest scores after like a month or something, they're allowed to switch. They're allowed to choose who their next partner is, and everybody in this show, of course, has another person that they have a crush on that they're not paired with. So it's like, I'm gonna, do all this married couple shit with this girl who I don't like, so that I can pick my girl I do like later. So it's like by the time you get to the girl you like, you're probably gonna be, I don't know. Anyway, so the problem with this show is that everybody in it's a big fucking pussy, just like every show, and it's very disappointing because this anime was a lot of fun through 2 episodes. It really isn't bad, honestly, but I'm just not gonna. It's definitely failing, and I'll tell you why. I'm not gonna watch another rom-com where nothing happens. So in the 3rd episode, like Akari is like starting to like Jiro, like score, because she's just probably the hottest girl in the school. And he's borderline a loser, and she's like, she literally says to him, "What kind of like dirty sexual things do you think about doing to me on a daily basis?" I know all guys, because he tells her that all guys have dirty thoughts, and so she wants to know. And then 2 seconds later, she's like asking if he'd like to do those things to her, and I'm thinking, yes, correct direction. If you want some fucking points as a married couple, why don't you just have sex on the couch? That would probably get you some fucking points, because kissing her out, because he kissed her in episode 1 and went out to do something with his friends on the lips. So he's, we've already transgressed like the massive hurdle of most rom-coms. And I'm thinking this is going to be fucking great, because he's not as big of a pussy as I think he'll be, because he kissed the girl and he got 2 points for that. So then 2 episodes later, they're getting ready to have sex, and I'm like, if you get 2 points for kissing, you're going to get fucking 50 points for having sex. And she literally pushes him down onto the couch and climbs up on top of him in a very erotic scene, and like guides his hand to her shoulder, where starts pushing her top off, and this is her doing this. She's straight up on top of him at this point. So it's pretty fucking obvious what she's trying to accomplish here. And he can't fucking do it because he likes some other girl that's paired up with another guy who is probably railing the hell out of her. You're supposed to be a married couple, so I mean that's what married couples do. Let's just be clear. And and then nothing happens, and then she gets mad and embarrassed, as she should. And it's just like, and then he comes back later and like apologizes, and you know what? And they make it sound like maybe they'll get around to being a real couple because he apologizes, and they have a kind of a moment at the end of episode 3. I'm not going to fall for this shit again. I'm not going to chase the Kaguya-sama endless rabbit hole for 45 episodes to get like the actual sex scene or whatever it is. So this one's failing, but honestly, I wouldn't mind watching it because it's definitely not the worst show I have. Most of my shows are pretty good. This one's not terrible, but I'm not falling for this again. You guys are going to have to pass it.
It is a travesty.
Kind of reminds me of Love and Lies a little bit. You guys remember that one?
Also, it has a really good art style. That it has like this really pastel-y sort of Eizouken-esque like color palette where there's like not a lot of shading. I feel like it's just a lot of different colors, and it looks really solid, honestly. Like the theme song and ending are horrendous. But yeah. What's next? I wanted to pass this one, really I did.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if I can pass one today. I've got a little known show called Chainsaw Man. Or, as it is referred to on the Discord sometimes, Chainsaw Man. Which honestly needs no introduction.
Chainsaw. What? What does that mean?
It's just you
it's
put
like a
the
line
saw,
of it's
you
like
put the saw with the man.
It's a line of lumberjacks standing in the woods.
Yeah, maybe. This is done by Mappa. It is on Crunchyroll, and it is based on a manga. And it essentially tells the story of Devil Hunter Denji, who's this lovable but beaten down boy with dreams of jammed bread and boobies. And he just wants a chance to live a normal life.
It's not the same.
He's powered up by his pint-sized, peach-colored, pull-string-infused pooch, where he has to navigate the delicate balance between light and darkness in this dangerous world of devils and devil hunting. And this is a very comedic and fictional world. You know, there's all this fantasy stuff going on, and it's supposed to elicit, a laugh. It's very unrealistic in a lot of ways, but it is very well-grounded at the same time. It shows toll booths and laundry and toilet paper and soggy udon, and it all gives the show a sense of like realism and depth to it. And the opening song is very well directed, but it kind of looks sloppy, as do most of the CG infused monsters sprinkled throughout the story. And it kind of has that same like stocky similarity to Dorohedoro. Like, just look at the shoes and they're identical. But like Dorohedoro, despite some of the visual flavorings being simple, it is just darkly fun in its vibe. It's got these eccentric characters, it has all these various EDs, and it just is kind of gruesome, and it's just sort of too good to pass up sometimes. And I get, at the end of the day, I could fail this show and have the listeners voted in because we're not going to escape it. But where's the fun in that? I want to watch the chaos of people fighting over what shows they want to have reviewed. And at the end of the day, I'm not here for your entertainment. You listeners are here for my entertainment. So with that,
the whole Spy X Family thing has just gotten out of hand.
simply, Chainsaw Man is going to get passed. And that's all there is to it.
I thought for sure you were going to fail it. Now I got to find a drop. Uh-oh.
It's on the notes, Mitz.
I'm just teasing. Oh.
Yes.
I had another drop.
Now this is going to be a good story.
I could go on about this show, but we'll do that in the reviews, so you'll have to wait till then.
All right, my final anime is Shinobi no Ittoki, or in English, Shinobi no Ittoki. Okay. Pretty sure it means like Ittoki's ninja or some shit, because his name's Ittoki. So basically, in this anime is so weird. What studio is it done by? It's done by Studio Troika, which has been fairly around lately. I don't know. They got a lot of idol shows under their belt. So in this anime, the Koga clan of ninja attack this boy that is apparently the heir of the Iga clan. So this is all like ninja clan shit. And so he gets attacked by this clan of ninjas, and then then they sit down with him and talk, because he doesn't know what the fuck's going on, and he gets sat down in front of all these Iga ninja people, and they tell him what happened and how he's a ninja, and he's like, what? Ninjas are real? And then they tell him he's the heir to the clan, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, are you fucking kidding me? And then just turns his world upside down. And then because he doesn't know how to be a ninja, and I guess he's going to have to be, they send him to a school to become a ninja. And and school things happen. I mean, there's like Koga clan people at the school that are students that are powerful and bullies, and they're not nice. And then, there's he finds a couple friends, and then they go do like a very Naruto-like ninja mission or some shit, like at the end of episode 3. This anime was like, after the first 2 episodes, this anime was fucking terrible. I mean, it was like the dullest sack of shit. I was like, this is so dumb. Ninjas are like driving cars and stuff and like, acting like secret agents or some shit. And I'm just like, this is so stupid. But episode 3 was pretty fun. Normally they get to the school and I'm like, well, there goes the end of that anime. But, at least in this one, it was at least lively compared to what was happening before, which was just super dull. It's almost like when you're eating like a moon pie or something, and the first couple bites you get like no marshmallow filling, and you're like, ugh, just dry, give me some milk. And then you get to the filling, and you're like, oh, the filling is pretty good, but it's too little too late, honestly. Like, and it's just stupid, honestly. Like, why don't if the Koga and Iga clans are at war with each other, why don't they just kill him right there? Like, there's ninjas in the school that are like, they say they're elite. And I'm like, 1, why are they in the school if they're elite? And 2, there's a bunch of them. Why don't they just fucking bump him off? He doesn't even know how to be a ninja. He can barely even move in his like ninja equipment. So it's like, it's just stupid. Like, they had to just stab him in his sleep or something, or kill him in broad daylight. This anime is not good though. It's but it's not horrible. I just don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's going to go in a very intelligent direction. So I'm going to fail this one. Pretty easy fail. But it did get better, but you can't make up for 2 terrible episodes with 1 average episode. So, and that's probably, I can't even watch Kontai Collection because it doesn't come out till the 8th or the 10th of November. So I don't even know what to do about that, but I'm sure that was going to suck anyway.
I was going to say, I don't know if it'll suck, but I don't think you'll pass it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I have pretty good anime this season. All of mine are they're like at worst average, I'd say. This anime is maybe a little below average, but it's still watchable. I mean, it's not like, this is not the worst one. This is not the worst one I have, but I won't say which one is because I don't want to bury the lead. But
next week people will find out.
Yeah, as I do all the rest of them. Exactly.
I need to start making our image for this voting poll because you listeners are going to come in clutch now that the gates are open.
Who's going to save Spy Family Season 2?
I think there's going to be...
Caroline's got this.
I'm just so done with
She just literally became a ghost and drifted away.
We only make fun of you, Caroline, because we like you.
No, like, I understand it's mostly a joke, but it's getting 100%. So tiresome. And then there are people who actually take it so seriously. So, yeah.
But the fact that it affects you is fueling the community.
It's because they care.
If you didn't care, they would not mention it because they only have fun with it because you let them have fun, and that's a good thing.
No, but like, tell me how this is logically making sense that they got on my case for not passing stuff like DIY and a couple other shows. And like, how can you not pass that? She's doing it just like Spy Family again. And I'm like, listen, I only have 2 passes, and you're getting on my case that I didn't pass another show, and you're comparing it to Spy Family, when if you want Spy Family, there are going to have to be some fails. I cannot pass everything.
Fucking fired up.
It's just so stupid.
I mean, I wish I had 4 passes this season. That's about how many anime of mine that I like, enough to pass, really, but I can't do that. So,
well, I think when we finish our passes next episode, we should make predictions on whose shows we think will pass the listeners. But right now, we've passed Bocchi the Rock, Chainsaw Man, Gundam the Witch of Mercury, and Raven of the Inner Palace. So there's 2 passes to go, and then we leave it up to you guys. And that's where the shit posting comes in. So I'm excited.
Woo! Another episode of Impressions complete. Another Halloween episode complete.
Was this the messiest episode ever? I think so.
Yeah,
I think it's up there.
I am just glad I'm done with the candy corn now. Because
all of it?
I have no, but I'm done with this episode. So yeah,
it's self-inflicted. You don't have to eat that.
I know.
What was your total count?
Let's see. We got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 29 pieces of candy corn.
You're going to end it on such a unsavory... Number?
Mason,
Yeah,
have you ever watched Future Boy Conan?
I have.
Have you seen that, Caroline? There you go.
30 days.
Happy Halloween.
Candy corn. And believe it or not, my mom actually loves candy corn.
Well, she'll be happy to finish the bag.
I don't know how she doesn't even like sweets all that much, but for some reason she goes crazy for candy corn every year.
I do love Future Boy
You
Conan.
should probably have her watch some Idol anime, or Neon Genesis Evangelion, or Aquatrope. I almost said Aquatrope.
Yeah, that's the right way to say it.
But that was our show. Caroline, tell them where to do the things.
Do the things at Twitter at AAA Podcast. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Discord. There's a join Discord button right there on the website. And then you can join us for watch parties and clubs and other discussions. Like Anime Club this week, we are going to be discussing Yuru Camp as a cozy, nice fall anime. That was the theme for this time around. And you can find us on TikTok, where I will eventually post their video, but I have not done that in weeks. And please join us next week for the last round of impressions.
So exciting. We'll see you there. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Bye.
Brush your teeth. Brush your
Happy
teeth.
Halloween.